Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. We're excited to be kicking off. This is actually going to end up being a Level Up Your Ticket event webinar series. So this is the first webinar in that specific series. When we send out our follow-up emails from this webinar, you'll get the dates, and also stay tuned for the other invites that will be part of this. But for today, our topic will be out-of-the-box ticket events. And we will be having our presenters, Chris Newcomer from our sales team and Elizabeth Delarova, who is a senior account manager. So they are, if you have not had the opportunity to speak with them, you will learn all about them today and how much of experts they are with this stuff. So thank you so much for joining. And then just a few quick housekeeping items for today's webinar, and then we will dive into the agenda and get started. All right, so for GoToWebinar, you have the ability to minimize or maximize your control panel using the arrow button in the upper left corner. If you have any questions, please submit them using the control panel. If your question for any reason does not get answered during the webinar, don't worry, somebody will follow up with you afterwards. And then the recorded webinar will be shared with all registrants within 24 to 48 hours post-webinar. And again, any links that we talk about, any upcoming webinars that are going to be in the series, we will make sure that they are linked and that you have access to them. All right, so on to you, Chris.
Well, thanks so much, Daniela, and thanks for that great introduction. And yes, welcome to Out of the Box Ticket Events with myself, Chris Newcomer from the sales team, and we have my favorite person on the darn planet, Elizabeth Delarova, one of our lead senior account managers. Say hi, Elizabeth.
Wow, what an introduction. Thanks, Chris.
I'm just saying,
Not
you're
sure I can say
wonderful.
the same about you, but
Yeah, it's a one-way adoration kind of thing, which is fine. You can go to the next slide. I'll go through the agenda. So today we're going to discuss who we are. We're going to discuss the importance of events. We're going to go through some popular and unique ticket events, and we're going to talk about some tools to enhance ticket events, as well as customer examples. So who are we? Well, we are event technology experts. We've helped customers raise $1.4 billion. We have 26,000 plus events using the platform. And our mission is to make it free and easy for small businesses and nonprofits to generate more revenue, grow their events, and engage their attendees. We create free and easy to use event software that you can fully control. And we're going to discuss the importance of events, why to host events, and the benefits of events. So why events? Well, we provide the opportunities for people to donate. You can build relationships with your supporters and thank them. You can introduce new supporters to your organization, and you can increase revenue via tickets and swag sales. 56% of donors attend fundraising events regularly. 63% of nonprofits host events to build community, and ticket sales are the largest driver for 75% of fundraising events for their revenue. So the benefits of events are to strengthen relationships and support, whether supporters are volunteering their time, attending, and or donating, and it solidifies their dedication and builds a bond. I've worked previously at nonprofits, and these kinds of events, bringing us all together in the moment for a speaker event, for something special, really did build that sense of camaraderie and really focus in on why we do go through all the other stuff that isn't as much fun, the bureaucracy of it all. And so these events are really important to remind people of that. It also raises awareness about your mission. So any event will naturally bring light to your cause. And staying in communication with your current supporters and building on that existing base will also help attract new supporters as they spread the word about your event. They also bring diverse groups together. An event helps to bring people together from different communities, backgrounds, and ages. You don't need to host an in-person event to achieve this. Virtual events can also help contribute to the goal of bringing people together and inclusivity if a person is unable to attend in person. That's why we talk a lot about hybrid events and always having that option so that you're not leaving anyone out, which is really, a great way to move forward. It also helps build your mailing list. Believe it or not, this can make a big difference for your organization. Whether it's a new person, a plus one being added while purchasing tickets to your event, or a past donor that you never got an email for, you now have the opportunity to stay connected with them.
All right. So now we're going to talk about some types of ticket events that we've seen on our platform. Chris and I have been here since just before the pandemic, both of us.
I believe my first day was the day one of the pandemic, essentially. But
yeah, Chris is GiveSignup's pandemic baby. So we have seen some really interesting and unique types of events in our time here, because when we both started at GiveSignup, we were seeing I saw some regular events before the pandemic, and then during the pandemic, our customers got really creative. So some of the events that we'll show you a little later are examples of ones that happened like late last year in 2021, when in-person events were starting to come back. So there's some popular types of ticket events that we'll go through, some unique ones that we've seen, and then also we'll go through a couple of virtual and hybrid event types that we've seen and that you can accomplish on our ticketing platform. So some popular ticket events that we see, not only on our platform, but that you have probably seen everywhere, are things like holiday light shows, Halloween events, so like spooky corn mazes and scary like walkthrough type things, regular corn mazes that sell tickets ahead of time, music events and concerts, festivals of all kinds. We're going to show an example of a beer festival a little bit later in the presentation. That's just one example. I think wasn't there like a horseradish festival or something that got set up recently, Chris?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of
interesting
new ones, sunflower festivals, and yeah, people anywhere if there's something in your area that everyone is thrilled about, a turtle festival, a rabbit festival, feel free. I mean, we can help you with that. We're not afraid.
Oh my God. I want to go to a turtle festival.
Yeah, me too. It sounds awesome.
It's
a lot about patience, I think. I think it's a lot of patience in the turtle festival. Anyway, continue.
Golf tournaments is a big one. I would say that's one of the #1 event types that we see on our platform, because it's such a common event for nonprofits. But all different types of golf tournaments, some like virtual hybrid type golf tournaments, which is interesting, that have come out of the pandemic. Cornhole tournaments, sometimes with teams, where you sign up with a partner to play cornhole. Galas and dinners, obviously you see a lot of those as well for nonprofits. And then conventions or conferences, those types of events are pretty common on our platform as well, because you have to sell tickets to those ahead of time. So we can accomplish all of these popular ones through our ticketing platform. Some unique ones that we've seen that are not normal, or that are sometimes more virtual adjacent, are things like pet voting. So this one might not translate, so I'll explain it. This one was an example from, I think it was an animal shelter that had a contest every year around their gala. I think the actual winner was announced at their gala. And they posted a bunch of pictures previously on Facebook that you would then vote leading up to the gala, after you bought your ticket to the gala, on your favorite pet, and then the winner got awarded at their gala in person. They actually set that up on our platform, and I think they've done it once or twice already, and they're going to continue to do that through our platform, because we have a nice voting feature that allows you to do that type of virtual ticket sale that is actually working as a vote. So you'd set up each of the pets as a ticket, and then have people buy tickets to cast their votes. Some other creative ones that we've seen are scavenger hunts. So sometimes it's just a ticket to participate in the scavenger hunt, and then the follow-up email that you get gives you instructions. Sometimes it's an actual like in-person day of type thing, but all different types of scavenger hunts we've seen. Cooking classes, that's sometimes, again, virtual, online type of an event, or it can be in person. Clam bakes and things like that. I've never been to a clam bake, so I can't really describe that one, but I'm sure if you have, you know what it's like. A pie eating contest, fashion show, a sausage fest, which I've definitely never been to, and then all types of other unique events.
I want to hear more about pie eating contests. That sounds awesome. But I mean, I guess we got to talk about ticket events. I see. It's not about it's not about bakery stuff. I get it.
Yeah, I actually can't think of that example that I've seen on our platform yet. So maybe you would be the first pie eating contest.
Yeah, wonderful. Come
Maybe
break ground with your pie eating contest, raise some money, and have some delicious treats. It sounds awesome.
I've seen things like in high schools and stuff where they have the principal like get pie in the face. I feel like I've seen that on our platform already.
Yeah, I think that's a different
You have to like buy a
lean to
ticket
it.
for like an entry to like do it.
That's similar to like a dunk tank kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hybrid options, like I was saying, with the uncertainty of ongoing COVID spikes and also just from the past 2 years of constantly changing restrictions and regulations around holding in-person events, it's always great to build in a virtual option or component to your event. Sometimes that just means being creative when your event gets closer and thinking of ways to switch to virtual or hybrid. And for some types of events, you want to build that component in from day one when you first set up the event. And you want to give people the ability to participate virtually, as well as to choose maybe the day of or the day before to switch to virtual if something comes up in their own life or if they're not comfortable due to COVID or any other reason. So just for the purpose of inclusivity, it's really important to build this into your events as you can. It allows attendees to still participate if they don't feel comfortable. You don't exclude anyone who might be immunocompromised or have other health-related restrictions or worries. And then it also increases your capacity limits in your venue. So you can have, 10% of your attendees participating virtually, which gives you that much more space in the venue for the in-person, which allows for social distancing or allows you to just accommodate more people at your event. It also expands your reach to grow your network. So think about, your grandma across the country who maybe 3 years ago would never have been able to come to this event that you're really passionate about. But if you build in a virtual option, COVID aside, you're just giving her another ability to participate in something that before COVID would never have had a virtual component that allows people to participate from a long distance. So why limit your event to supporters in your geographical area? Is kind of the point there. So here's some ways to incorporate this. Obviously, this depends on the event type and also what you've historically done, if this is something that you've held this event in the past. But an interactive online booth, which there are tools for that out there. Social media streaming, I think everyone's pretty familiar with this after COVID. But Facebook Lives and live Zooms that people can join to watch in on either the live event or have like a separate stream running, almost like a telethon type thing. Something with online apps, depending on the type of event, like a scavenger hunt, you could definitely utilize scavenger hunt apps that are out there. So depending on what you're trying to accomplish, there might be an app for that you can use. Zoom streaming, like I said, pick up your meal in advance. So this would be for dinners and galas type events. You can have like a to-go option that somebody can pay maybe a little bit less, but they get to come pick up their meal before the event starts the day of, and then maybe they can join a Facebook Live from home. You can also mail them their event packet. So if you're having some kind of in-person day of type event, you can always mail out packets ahead of time or give people the option to for an additional fee for shipping. Play anytime or any green golf tournaments. I think I hinted at this earlier, but some golf tournaments that I've seen in the last couple of years have done where you sign up to participate in the tournament, sometimes with a group, but then you get to either go to one specific course at any time that's convenient for you to play your actual round, or if you're remote and you're living in a different area, you could actually play on whatever golf course is convenient to you. So that's another way to include people from a further distance away who might want to support your nonprofit but not be able to come out and golf on that specific morning. And then a recorded theater performance, obviously recording things ahead of time or during the event and then sending it out afterward to people who couldn't make it the day of is another way to include people that can't necessarily be there in person at the moment. So this stat, 70% of nonprofits expect to include some virtual elements going forward. I think especially for ticket events, it's so easy to think of a way to do it, that why wouldn't you? So it's really important to think about that as you're starting to plan your events for this year. So virtual events, like I was saying, some events are going to be totally virtual, so totally online, or asynchronous. So this creates a space for your organization to think out of the box, be cost effective and inclusive while still supporting your mission. So some examples that we've seen, and this kind of goes across both our ticketing platform and our registration platform, things like readathons or other challenges like that. Walk, run, or bike at your own pace, like a virtual race. The pet voting contest that I mentioned, that's totally asynchronous and virtual. An at-home cooking challenge or an at-home cooking class or show, and then peer-to-peer fundraising events for individuals or teams, which we have endless examples of from that's on our registration platform. So now Chris is going to talk through some tools that enhance ticket events.
Yeah, we're going to talk about tools to promote your event, some must-have features, and how to build up your event with those tools. So tools to promote your event, it's important to have consistent communications with supporters that have tickets for your event so they are in the know of every detail leading up to the big day. Making sure you have an effective email tool is essential, which obviously we have built into every single event you have our wonderful email marketing. You also want a dedicated place to host ticket event sales, donations, swag sales, important event content, and even a place for your event photos and more. And yes, this means a custom website, which guess what? We also provide.
For free.
For free, exactly right. So those must-have features that are included with your free website and free email also include ticket caps. That's for, if you're doing a golf event and you only have a certain number of tickets available per tee time, you can set that limit on those specific tickets, or you can use that to create a sense of urgency. So it says, as you can see on the example here, only 10 tickets left. People are like, oh, I better book them now, which is great. You also have pricing flexibility. You can have different ticket groups, and pricing flexibility is great. Just like with how hybrid includes everybody, having a different price scaling includes everybody who wants to support your organization. So you could have student tickets all the way up to VIP and sponsorships, really covering the whole gamut of all the people who want to support you and meeting them where they are financially. We also have great tools for ticket transfer. So if you have a multi-day event and people are looking to switch within those events, we can leave it up to them so that it's not a big hassle for you. Our fantastic mobile check-in app, which is a great feature not just for ease, but for these times where we're not always sure if there are COVID regulations in place. It's an app that someone can download on their own phone, and you can give them access just to the information they need just to check people in. And that way, no one's passing papers around. They're able to just use the check-in app. We also have social sharing so that people are prompted to share that they've signed up for your event via Twitter, via Facebook, on their email, so they can get the word out that they are supporting you and get their friends to do so. And that's just a small sort of cross-section of all the tools we have available on those ticket events. So how to build up your ticket event. Now that you have sold your tickets to the event, what else can you do to help build up your event? Well, maybe your event is a race or a virtual challenge of some kind. You can consider these things to do before the big day. So tickets to a pasta dinner leading up to a race, walk, or ride. See, I've been doing this, but I haven't been doing the race, walk, or ride. Am I doing that part wrong?
Have you been selling tickets to it, Chris?
Just
or
to
have
myself.
you just been eating a lot of pasta by yourself?
A lot of pasta. I think that maybe that's what it is. Yes, maybe now there I've got it. You can have small events like a car wash to help collect funds for the cause of the ticket event. You can do a meetup for a virtual challenge. So say a virtual challenge is going on for a couple of weeks. If things permit, you can have folks come for like a celebratory moment at the end of that virtual challenge. You can also offer swag options for everyone to have a take-home token of the event. So that could be a T-shirt, it could be a sweatband, it could be really anything. But I think the ones we love to see are the ones that are sort of out of the box. So if you can come up with a unique sort of swag option, that's always very popular as well.
All right, time for some examples. I'm going to take a couple of these, and then Chris is going to take a couple of these, so you guys can see some interesting customer examples, like I said, that we've seen in the last year or so, that are in-person, virtual, hybrid, and using our platform creatively. So one of them was a big Halloween light show that used our event last year. It was a really complex and large event. They had thousands of tickets and thousands of attendees. And it happened over the course of a month. So it was the month of October. So each day leading up to Halloween, and then on Halloween night, obviously, they would have time slot tickets. So starting at like 5 p.m. or so, you would be able to buy a ticket every 15 minutes. So you could buy a 5 o'clock ticket for 4 people or something, or if you didn't want to go at that time, you could go anytime up to like 10 p.m. So that meant, 10 or 20 time slots for each night. I don't know, I can't count.
Don't look at
with
me.
different pricing. No, I won't. I certainly won't be looking at you for that, Chris. So they also had different pricing for adults and children. So that on our platform would be set up as 2 separate tickets. So they just had a lot of tickets, but we were able to accomplish this really complex setup by using our ticket group feature to create a ticket group for each day, and then tickets within those groups for each time slot, and then for adult and child. The adult and child pricing was like $5 different for the adult versus the child ticket, so that you could get a little bit of a discount if you were a family. They also used our ticket transfer feature, which is the screenshot that you see over here on the right. So this is how you set it up in the dashboard. This is not what it looks like to a participant. This is the director view. So if you turn this feature on, you'll actually be able to let your participants go in there and switch their own tickets themselves. So in this example, if I was signed up for Saturday, whatever, October 1st, I could switch my ticket to the following Saturday if something came up and I couldn't come on that date anymore. I could go in as a participant through a link in my confirmation email and then switch my ticket to a different day and time slot, come on that day. And for the participant, that's a really smooth experience. And for the director, it's really nice because you don't have to go in there transferring people's tickets for them on the back end all day, which for an event this big is really important because that would be a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
So another super nice thing that they used that saved them a lot of time was our check-in app, which Chris just described. And since they sold over 60,000 tickets, they were able to check people in efficiently using the check-in app because they could just scan the QR codes that people had in their confirmation emails or in the event reminder email that the event sent out the day before. And it made check-in much, much quicker. It also allowed for better social distancing while people were waiting in line to get checked in because the line was moving faster and the volunteers could walk up and down the line and check people in that way. And you also see this last stat here. They had about 9,000 people in this event transfer their tickets to a different date or time. So imagine having to do that as the director 9,000 times versus just having people be able to do it themselves and find a time that is not full and that they can switch to that works for them.
And with the mobile check-in app too, I mean, it's multiple people are using it at once, right? It's not just one person on a thing. It can really spread out. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so this event had a whole staff of people each night, maybe at different entrances. I don't actually know whether they had like multiple spaces you could come into. But if you had, 3 or 4 staff at each entrance, that makes it much, much quicker to get people in and out and on time, since again, they were using time slots. So they wanted to make sure there were only so many people in the actual event at a time. So it's kind of like a walkthrough light show. So overall, this our ticketing platform made this a lot simpler for them to manage because they were able to do all of this almost automatically and much, much more quickly than they could have without the check-in app and ticket transfers. So this beer festival event, Chicago Craft Beer Festival, they used us last summer for their beer festival in Chicago, and they're actually going to use this again this June. So they were a sold out, pretty large scale festival. They had 8 time slots that you could enter over 3 days. So kind of like the last event, but just over a weekend. So you would pick if you wanted to go on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and then what time you wanted to enter, again, to kind of maintain some like cap on the number of people in the venue at one time. So they had max 400 tickets in any of those time slots, so that they only ever had 400 people in the festival at one time. They had a pretty simple and speedy buying process. They didn't ask any questions of individual ticket holders. They only asked the purchaser for their like name, email, basic information like that, so that it was super simple to buy tickets day of or right ahead of time without having to fill out a bunch of questions and information.
And a good thing to point out too is with the ticket event, you can include things like confirming that the person purchasing a ticket is 21 years old if you have the case of a beer festival like this. So just the requisite data.
That's a good one. Yeah. So you actually, on a ticket, when you set that up in our system, there's a checkbox that you can check that says, do you want to make this ticket 21 or over, which makes then for the purchaser, they also get a checkbox that makes them verify that the person purchasing the ticket and each person who's getting a ticket is 21 and over, which obviously, you know, for a beer festival type of thing, you probably are still checking IDs at the door, but it does have people stop and verify that for you while they're buying tickets. So you have that information. So they saw 110% increase in ticket sales using our platform last year, and a 227% increase in revenue, which were both really great for them, especially the summer sort of coming out of COVID last year. And they also use the check-in app for efficient entry and re-entry. So if someone had checked in on Friday, but they had also bought a ticket for Saturday, they were still able to use the check-in app to check them in again the next day, which is really nice for this type of a thing.
And I'm going to talk about the theater show because I like theater and I wanted to talk about this one. So I told Elizabeth, I'll come in right here and talk about this. So this is Snow Productions, who they've done a couple different shows on our site, but this was their production of Shrek from last summer. It was a sold out limited run of the show. They used the free website to include pages with additional event information so they could communicate, hey, here's where the show is, here's where you can park, that sort of thing. They have both adult and student pricing for 4 times across 3 days. That was those ticket groups we're talking about, how you can really separate it out so that people can get the right ticket for them and right a price point for them. They've got their highly consistent and recognizable brand. You know, our tools make it really easy to not only show they're showing Snow Productions brand, they're also showing the Shrek, the musical brand, which they probably paid a license for. So if you're paying for that license, you want to make sure you're able to show it off for these kinds of events. They also used their cover page to share information about logistics as well. We're seeing a lot more of these things come in, and the ticket platform is great for events like this, where there isn't necessarily a seating chart, but you want to give different ticket groups. So say you could do it so that you had people sort of in the balcony area. You only have like 20 seats in the balcony, you sell 20 of those, and then you have VIP seats, which could be the orchestra. It's pretty easy to measure out and do once you have an idea of what the space is.
Yeah, we do everything up to seating charts. We don't do seating charts. So if you're that kind of a theater production, can't help you there. Yeah. But for this type of a thing, where I think they were actually having it at like a high school or something, right? Or no, they had it in a regular theater.
No, I think this is a community theater or regional theater. Yeah.
Yeah. So they just had like sections of the theater that they were selling tickets to. And
Shrek, fun fact, Shrek is licensed through Music Theater International, where I also used to work. So I know for a fact. I hope they bought the license
everywhere.
to use that logo.
Chris has worked here, nonprofits, and Music Theater International, and those 3 have just come up here.
Well, I mean, it all fits in. Might as well bring it up, right? Do you have any YMCA examples? I worked there too. Let's. That's a different webinar.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I would also add that this is the nicest looking green cover page that I've ever seen. I don't think anyone else could make this green look good, but since it's Shrek, they pull it off.
Yeah, Shrek does require a green all over, but you'll see those different shades of green. That's not, they give you a couple like sort of simple color palettes you can pull from, but we also have a tool where you can use the sort of the dropper to pick out a color you want, or you can just do gradations. So you can get pretty specific in the customization that way.
Yeah, I thought it looked really good. And I usually don't think this color green looks good.
Yeah. Oh, I love this example.
Um,
So this is a scavenger hunt theme. So highly themed with custom wording on each action button, because this was get what a pirate themed scavenger hunt. So they have things like enter your crew and double donate doubloons, that sort of thing. That's all the limit of the pirate accent I'm going to do.
oh, please. No, it's not.
I'm trying to respect our wonderful customers. The sponsors are also fully integrated into the content. You can see the sponsors are on the banner there, but places you can add sponsors include emails. You can give them their own sponsor page. You can give them their own huge block. So you've got like a full headline sponsor for your event. You'd give them a whole block on the cover page or the website builder to show off their message. And as I said, they've got the Do It With Friends via the crew sign up. And kids join for free with additional adults available by adding a pirate crew using our combo tickets. Combo tickets are a great option to give people more incentive to buy more tickets at once and save a little bit of money if you're offering any discounts that way. I love this example. I think that's all for that one, yeah. Elizabeth? Oop. Well, yes, I think that's our last example for, I think Elizabeth just got kicked out of the chat. Oh, so someone's asking, is this a site example of available to peruse? This one I think may be closed at the moment, but we can reach out and see if we can send you some examples of current sites. After we'll take down your information, Veronica, and we'll send you some examples because it would be really cool. See if there are any other fundraising examples like that scavenger hunt that are current and live that we can send you. And does anybody else have any questions or thoughts? You can pop them into that questions tool. Either I or Daniela will answer. I think that we have lost Elizabeth for the moment, but I'm sure she will pop back in unless she's there and she's just hiding from me. She's
I
like,
think we might have
come back.
There she is.
I was like, she
I don't
bailed
know
on.
what happened.
We're back.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, yes, any questions that we got? Veronica had a great question, so we definitely have examples for you. And someone just said, thank you both for not making this boring. You two are refreshing. So thank you for that. That's very nice. We love a compliment as well. That's very kind. Yeah, so any other questions? Well, if there aren't other questions, we can sort of begin to say our goodbyes. But you can feel free to reach out to us if you do have questions. Either you can reach us at info@givesignup.org, or you can reach me at chris@givesignup.org. You can reach Elizabeth at
Elizabeth@givesignup.org.
Elizabeth with an S because she's fancy.
Oh yeah, but I think if you type in a Z by accident, it'll still come to me.
It'll still come to you. There's one more.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I think that covers it all. And okay, oh, the processing fee. Yes, that's a great question. What are the processing fees? So basically, all we charge is processing fees. There's no setup, there's no subscription. Currently on donations, the processing fee is a flat 4%. Now on tickets and registrations, right now, the fee is 5.8% plus $1 on the whole transaction. So if people are signing up as a family, they're only paying that $1 once and saving some money. As of May 1st, there is a slight price increase to 6% plus $1, so not too much. But if you get your event up and running on the site before May 1st, you will lock in that earlier processing fee. And you can also check out our pricing if you want to see it laid out at givesignup.org/pricing. It's right there. We even have a very handy pricing tool that you can use if you want to see how it squares with what you might be charging. And those fees are flexible, I forgot to mention. You can add them onto that charge, you can take them out, you can split them. And if at all your organization is covering the fee, there's a great box that's clicked that says make your purchase or donation go further by covering the fee. That last little guilty elbow to the ribs that says, be a good person, cover the fee, which we think is important. Let's see. An example of a readathon, I do think I have an example of that. So I will, Alexi, I'll reach out to you and I'll send you some examples of that as well. And I think that might be all the questions we have, unless you see other ones I haven't answered.
Well, I cut out for a few.
I think we got them all. Cover a good amount of them. And
Right.
for everybody joining, again, any good resources that we talked about during this webinar, we'll make sure to include them in those follow-up emails. So questions about the processing fees, upcoming
Examples.
webinars, we'll include that in there. So other than
Awesome.
that, thank you so much, Chris and Elizabeth and everybody else for joining.
Thank you. It's been
Thanks,
fun.
everyone.